Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. The committee will come to order. Good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome to the first meeting of the Committee on Appropriations for the 116th Congress. We meet today to consider and adopt our committee rules and subcommittee jurisdictions. Before we turn to the business at hand, I would like to say what an honor it is to serve as the chairwoman of this committee. And to work alongside each and every member in this room, and for all of us to work on behalf of all the people of the United States of America. Frankly, I had hoped we would have met before today, but we've had some important work to do in order to reopen the government. I am so pleased that we now have the entire federal government open, and we are working on behalf of the American people, and I hope it stays that way. I'm confident that if it were up to only appropriators, there never would have been a shutdown. As you might guess, it's going to be a busy 2019 for the committee. We must complete the 7 remaining fiscal year 2019 bills by February 15th. And to that end, we will have a meeting of the House and Senate conferees later today at 1:30 p.m. Further, as soon as next week, I expect that the committee will begin holding necessary oversight hearings, which will eventually transition into budget hearings on the fiscal year 2020 bills and an aggressive markup schedule. I look forward to a very productive year for this committee and this Congress. As appropriators, we have a very important power, the power of the purse, and it's important that we treat this responsibility with respect. I ask that we work together in a bipartisan way with programs under our jurisdiction. Members should get out and visit the departments and programs over which we have jurisdiction to let them know that we are interested and involved in how the programs are being carried out, and how we spend our time reflects our priorities. We will soon send travel guidance to all offices, outlining the process and rules on member travel. We will lead by example in encouraging members to conduct oversight and ensure taxpayer dollars are spent wisely. And to continue a priority of my friend Chairman Frelinghuysen, we also intend to hold member days on each subcommittee to encourage all members to be involved and to work with us. We want all of our colleagues to know that we are open and interested in their input, their perspective, and their support of our 12 bills on the floor. Although this may seem daunting, I believe that we're all up to the task. Now, my partner in these efforts this year is Kay Granger, and I want to congratulate her on her new role as full committee ranking member. Kay and I previously served together. In fact, we kind of take turns as chair and ranking member on SFOPs, and we both share a commitment to completing our work on time and under regular order and pride in the committee. Kay, your collegiality and dedication have served this committee well, and I look forward to continuing our friendship this Congress. Now, before I turn to Ms. Granger for her opening remarks, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to the 8 new Democratic members of the committee. And I know Ms. Granger will introduce the new member on her side. Representative, why don't you stand as I call your name? Representative Lois Frankel of Florida's 21st District. Representative Sherry Bustos of Illinois' 17th District. Bonnie Watson-Coleman of New Jersey's 12th District. Representative Brenda Lawrence of Michigan's 14th District. Representative Norma Torres of California's 35th District. Representative Charlie Crist of Florida's 13th District. I can't stop smiling. This sounds so good. Representative Ann Kirkpatrick of Arizona's 2nd District. Representative Ed Case of Hawaii's 1st District. We're all looking forward to working with you this year. Now, you may also recognize some of the faces at the dais, including Shalonda Young. You can wave. She is our committee clerk and staff director. Chris Bigelow, our deputy staff director, is seated next to Shalonda. And I can't say enough good things about these two thoughtful, intelligent, spectacular people. And I want you all to know you should feel free to reach out to either of them for wisdom in general or any questions or concerns you may have. One of my highest priorities is that we ensure that all members, including those not on the committee, are able to use the appropriations process to benefit their constituents and communities. I want to say that again because I think this is a very important responsibility of appropriators. We really should be reaching out, understanding members' needs, and being as helpful as we can. The committee staff, I want to assure you, will do everything they can to help you and your staff. Now, I would like to recognize and thank the 3 members from the majority side who will serve as our representatives on the Budget Committee. Rosa DeLauro, David Price, Barbara Lee. And I know they will represent our committee well as they take on this task. Also, I would like to mention that in accordance with House Democratic Caucus rules, we have elected a vice chair of the committee, Pete Aguilar. Now, before I recognize Ms. Granger, a quick bit of housekeeping this year. Ed Case and Will Hurd will serve as co-chairs of the Committee Flower Fund. Now, and for all of you who may be a little unfamiliar with this practice, the committee uses this fund to send flowers or food baskets to the family of a member who has experienced an illness, lost a family. What an efficient crowd. We all know what's coming. Oh, you're... Make sure you direct it to the right place. This is very important, and I also mentioned happy occasions like the birth of a child. And as we open the 116th Congress, it's time to grow the fund. So each member, some of you all already took the cue, make a contribution of $20 to the fund today, or if you don't have it, in the very near future. Again, I look forward to a very successful year. I want to thank you all for being here today. And this is a very noisy crowd. I know it's our first session, but my next statement is very important. It's my pleasure to recognize Ms. Granger for her opening remarks. Ms. Granger.
Thank you, Chairman Lowy. I would like to begin by congratulating you, not only for becoming the chair of this great committee, but being the first woman to hold the gavel. I had planned on that position, but if it couldn't be me, Nita, I'm really glad it's you. Nita and I have had the opportunity to work together over many years, and when there are issues we agree on, we're really pretty an unstoppable team. And while we haven't always agreed, we were always able to disagree without being disagreeable. I look forward to continuing our very productive relationship. Thank you. I also want to welcome the 8 new members of the majority party, and from our party, Mr. Will Hurd from Texas. Thank you. Will has a great background, is a very hardworking and very important. I'm so glad you have this position. We all know the committee has a lot of work to do. We have to start by completing our fiscal year 2019 bills. While I'm proud of the committee that was able to enact 5 appropriations bills, including defense, I know we're all disappointed with the current situation we find ourselves in. We have a unique opportunity to come together to support what the experts on the border say they need to address our security and the humanitarian crisis. We owe this to the American people. It is very important. How we proceed on these issues will set the tone for how we can work together in the Congress. We produce, I believe, the best policies when all ideas are to be heard. I'm hopeful that members on the other side of the aisle will work with us and we can find common ground when we can. It's important that this committee follows regular order. We've talked about that so many times, and I hope to work with Chairwoman Lowy to achieve this. The subcommittee members from both parties should be involved in crafting our bills, and members should be able to offer and debate amendments in the committee. It's also important that appropriation bills are considered under an open rule, so all members of the House have an opportunity to be heard and offer amendments. In closing, I look forward to working again with all of you for the next 2 years. We face many challenges, but I'm an optimist, and I'm very optimistic that we can work in a bipartisan, collegial manner and have many accomplishments. I yield back and thank you, Mrs. Lowy.
Thank you, and I do look forward to our partnership. Are there any other members who wish to make opening remarks? Okay, we'll move forward. If there is no further discussion, let's proceed to the business of the day. First is the committee rules. The package before you shows the proposed changes to the committee rules. Proposed additions are in italics, and proposed deletions are shown in brackets, which are circulated to your offices on Monday. While the changes may appear to be numerous, frankly, they're very easy to summarize. 1, striking all references to chairman and replacing it with chair. Providing additional flexibility for members, associate staff decisions, and updating meeting notice and bill and report availability requirements to conform to House Resolution 6, the House Rules Package, adopted by the House on January 3rd. The House and committee rules now clarify that markup and business meeting announcements must be provided 3 calendar days in advance excluding weekends and holidays unless the House is in session on one of those days. There's nothing in this proposal that would change the way the committee functions. Is there any discussion of the proposed committee rules? Is there any, does anybody have any amendments? What an effect. Pardon me? Oh. Ms. Granger.
I thank Mrs. Lloyd for putting forward these clarifying technical changes and have no objection to the adoption of the committee rules. I yield back.
Seeing no further amendments, I recognize the gentlelady from Ohio, our outstanding member, my friend, Ms. Capter, for a motion to approve the committee rules.
Madam Chair, I move that the proposed committee rules be adopted.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The ayes, this is a great way to operate. I hope we will continue in this fashion. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. The next order of business is to adopt our subcommittee jurisdictions. The jurisdictions before you make minor adjustments, clarifying jurisdictions of some subcommittees without making any major changes. We have consulted with the minority on this document. I believe we're in agreement. Is there any other discussion on the proposed subcommittee jurisdictions?
I have no objection to the proposed changes to subcommittee jurisdictions, and I yield back.
If there are no further amendments, I recognize Ms. Capter again for a motion to approve the subcommittee jurisdictions.
Madam Chair, I move the proposed subcommittee jurisdictions be approved.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. Next, I want to note that the committee has coordinated subcommittee sizes and ratios, and both the majority and the minority have completed subcommittee assignments. Unless there is any further business, I ask unanimous consent that the staff be given the authority to make technical and conforming changes to the items approved today. Without objection, so ordered. And as I close the meeting, I just want to say what a delight it is for me to be elected your chair. I look forward to working together, and I hope that all the business ahead of us is done exactly the way it is today. So if there is no further business...
Madam Chair?
Yes. Mr. Quay.
That's not what's here, right?
Welcome.
Madam Chair?
Who else? Who? Oh, Mr. Serrano.
Madam Chair, I think that the literature that was given out does not include the Subcommittee on Commerce, Justice, Science. The one that was sent to the offices does. I want people to know that we're still in business, and I haven't been kicked out yet.
Thank you very much.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
The Transportation HUD Subcommittee information is missing also. We just need to confirm that, that in fact all the subcommittees are included in what we just did, because our material does not include them. And Homeland is also...
I apologize. I understand it was a copy issue, so either we have to change the copy machine or those who are copying. Okay. Anybody else? No. So if... It's every other page. Okay. We will proceed, and if there is no further business, the committee stands adjourned, and I thank you very much.